Everything looks to be in one piece. Let's see what that knucklehead's doing in there. Hope he made me some money while I was gone. Woo! I had a great vacation, very relaxing. Get away from this knucklehead place. I'm back. I'm here. Where is everybody?
Hey, you can adjust the government on this engine here.
Spent a whole week, forgot my necklace. It's gone! Where's that spark plug necklace? I gotta find that necklace.
Make sure you got a screwdriver. That way you can adjust the government.
He better not be doing what I think he's doing.
Now, what you're gonna need is a 5/16 socket so that you can adjust the government on this engine.
And what you're gonna need is 3 body bags.
Oh no, it's Taryl! You said he was dead!
You better run!
Pardon me, sir.
You make me sick! Now get out of here! If you ever pull another stunt like that again, I will take you out back and bury you with that scrap steel. You hear me, boy?
Sir, yes, sir.
Now, what were you doing that how-to on?
How to set a government on an engine?
How to what?
How to set a government on an engine?
How to set a government on an engine.
Yeah.
Alright, now get out of here. Taryl here, fresh off of a week's vacation. That knucklehead kid of mine here, trying to film a how-to video, stealing my thunder when I'm not here. Well, I'm not going to have any part of that. So I'm going to do the video that he was going to be doing, which is on how to set a governor on an engine, not a government, a governor, okay? And then what I did is I took this apart to kind of show you the inner workings of the governor. This is the governor gear on a Briggs & Stratton. It's got these little weights on here, and these little points here, they help sling the oil around the motor while it's running. So what people do is when they take this rod off, they don't realize that you got to have tension up against this governor. And what happens is they leave a space in there, and then that thing is why your motor runs wide open. So I just want you to see how this is on the inside here. You know, this is what happens. You go and set it, and you got too much of a gap in here, and this thing's just going to run wild when it's spinning. You got to have, this lever's got to be up against this. So maybe by showing you the inside of this and how it works a little bit, that'll help you to understand. So what I'm going to go and do is I'm going to put the cover back on, and then I'm going to show you how to set this and what to look for. Okay, I'm just going to assume that you've took this off to do some kind of repair, and you put it back on, and now you start the lawnmower up and it's running wide open, it's screaming, and it wasn't doing it before. So I'm going to show you how to reset the governor so it'll work the way it's supposed to. So I got this loose, and I'm going to grab this shaft, the governor shaft, with these pliers. Now, a lot of governor shafts are different. This one's got a hex on it. There's some that have a slot in the end of it where you can put a screwdriver and turn it. Some have a hole in it where you can put a Allen wrench or a pin to hold it and move it. So I'm going to use these pliers. Now, see, it's moving. Now, I move it this way, and I feel resistance. I move it the other way, I feel nothing. So I want to go up against the resistance, where it's up against that gear like I showed you in the beginning. Then this, since it's loose, I want this wide open on the carburetor, see? It's wide open. Well, let me get that. Now I'm holding it. I got this wide open. Got to do two things at once. Now I'm going to tighten that up. We don't want any play up against that gear. We want it to be solid up against there. And this is how you tell if you got it right. See, you can move this. Now I'm going to do it the other way, and I'm going to show you why it won't work. I need a better block to block that up. Now if I went the other way, say I loosen this up, and I have this closed up against the idle screw, and I have this all the way up against the governor gear, and then I tighten this, because you're not going to mess nothing up if you do it wrong. See? Now this won't move. So that tells me I went the wrong way. So just loosen it up. Make sure you got this holding it up against that gear. Go the other way. I'm going to try to hold both these at once. I don't want any play in there. Make sure it's tight. Take that off. Now start it up, and it should operate the way it's supposed to do. Now if it doesn't, chances are that gear I showed you in the beginning, that thing might be broke. It might be broke in pieces. Then you're going to have to take that cover off and inspect that. But if you took the governor off for some reason, the mower was working fine before, and you mess with this and you don't know how to reset it, I'm just showing you how to reset it. Okay, now I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the governor spring and how to set the engine speed and the top RPM. And I got some tools and stuff I'm going to show you how to use. Hey! Watch it with that mic there, mister. Alright, here's a tool that Briggs makes. It's got slots in the end. And that's for reaching in and bending on the end where the governor spring is. So you can increase the RPMs. See, like here? I can bend that up. Now when you put more tension on the governor spring, you're going to increase the high RPMs. The more tension you put on it, the higher RPMs. The less tension, the lower the RPMs. But you got to have it running at full speed to set it. And they all work the same. All these engines got a governor spring. So you just got to keep that in mind. Whatever end that hooks to. Now on some Kohler, on some Corolla engines, they have where this whole mechanism here is on slots. So when you want to increase and decrease the governor speed, you just loosen up them screws and you turn it in them slots, and it'll put more tension on that spring without having to bend anything. But on a Briggs, you got to bend it with one of these tools. So then you're thinking, well, how am I supposed to know what the high RPMs are? Well, we got to have a tool. Got to have a tool for that. Here's one that's made by Echo. This is a fancy digital one that you hook to the spark plug, and it'll give you the RPMs. This is one, I think you can still get this from Briggs. It's made in Germany, see? See, it's all written in German. It says, I don't know what it says in German. I don't speak German. I speak redneck. All right, now here you got the little window. This is where your RPMs are. And this works off of vibration. So you stick it on the engine when it's running and it's vibrating, and this little thing is doing this while it's vibrating. And when you turn this thing, when it fans out, see how it's fanning out like that? It's getting real wide. When this thing gets to its widest point, You take it off and look, and that's your RPM. Now, 3,600 RPM is usually the standard for your high speed. That's where you want it to be, 3,600 RPM. So I hope all this little bit of tips and stuff on the governor, I hope that helps you. Another tip I want to give you. Some engines that surge where it does that, the thing to check is you might have a little bit of wear or gap in the governor, and that's why it's doing that. It's doing that pulsing. So the thing to do is check that governor. Maybe it got a little bit of play, and you have to take that little bit of play out by how I showed you, by loosening it, holding the shaft, and pushing on this. Make sure it's wide open. You want to get that play out of there. There should be no play in between that arm, that governor arm, and that gear I showed you inside the motor. So I hope that helps you explaining how the governor system works on one of these motors and how to set that governor. And there's your dinner.